learned more about her by reading about her since yesterday when she uh, passed, and she wrote a poem when she was young, which Mary's about to read, that discussed that very thing. What's the name of it? Go ahead, Mary.
Right. The poem I'm going to share is Nikki Rosa, and it was maybe her first poem or one of her first poems that she wrote, because she was born in 1943. So childhood remembrances are always a drag if you are Black. You always remember things like living in Woodlawn with no inside toilet. And if you become famous or something, they never talk about how happy you were to have your mother all to yourself and how good the water felt when you got your bath from one of those big tubs that folk in Chicago barbecue in. And somehow when you talk about home, it never gets across how much you understood their feelings. As the whole family attended meetings about Hollydale, and even though you remember your biographies never understand your father's pain as he sells his stock and another dream goes. And though you're poor, it isn't poverty that concerns you. And though they fought a lot, it isn't your father's drinking that makes any difference, but only that everybody is together and you and your sister have happy birthdays and very good Christmases. And I really hope no white person ever has cause to write about me, because they never understand Black life is Black wealth. And they probably talk about my hard childhood and never understand that all the while I was quite happy. Happy being who you are, where you are, because you are you. And that's Nikki Rosa, one of her first poems.
Okay. Yeah, and so that's what she was just saying that I mean in her poem that people write about you, people can write about you, but they don't understand the Black experience. And that's something that she did all of her life. She expressed her Blackness through verse. And I read three articles about her. One was in the USA Today, another was in the Washington Post, and another one was an entertainment piece. And she's described as a prolific poet, a civil rights activist, and who is internationally recognized. One of the things that I uh, learned about her was that she has written over 25 books, and she's had dozens of best-selling collections of poetry. And another thing that I read about her was that she used to cook with Margaret Walker, who was from Mississippi, and Maya Angelou and Toni Morrison, and she always claimed she cooked better than they did. And her other friends included Miles Davis, Dizzy Gillespie, and Nina Simone. Um, and of course, there were others like Aretha Franklin, Barbara Jordan, Bobby Seale, Huey P. Newton, the founders of the Black Panther Party.
Okay.
Yeah, you had another poem you wanted to read?
I do.
Okay.
One of her other poems is entitled The Girls in the Circle. The girls in the circle have painted their toes. They twisted their braids with big yellow bows. They took grandma's face powder and powdered each nose and sprayed evening in Paris all over their clothes. They are amazed at how they look. They smell good too. Mother may not be amused. The girls in the circle now tease and giggle. They look so grown up with that high heel wiggle. Their pearls are flapping, their dresses flow. They are so sorry they have no place to go. Mother refuses to drive them anywhere looking like that. Now, can't you see those little girls all dressed up, smelling good? And their mother doesn't think so. She doesn't take them wherever they wanted to go. That's Girls in the Circle.
Okay, Mary, you finished it?
I finished that poem. Yes.
Okay. Could you tell us something about it, the poem?
Well, from what I gathered from it, the girls dressed up. You know, they put on their high heel shoes. They put on their good smelling perfume, and mother wasn't pleased. So wherever they wanted to go, she refused to take them, because I guess they were looking like little ladies, but they were little girls. And she says, at the end, she says, mother refuses to drive them anywhere looking like that.
Oh, okay. Okay, so one of the other things that I read about Nikki Giovanni since yesterday was that she was a recipient of the Langston Hughes Medal. She received an NAACP Image Award, an Emmy Award, and she was a Grammy Award nominee. And I did mention that she traveled with Muhammad Ali. Okay, and here's something else that I read about her. That she was first known in the 60s as a leader of the Black arts movement, which emphasized African American empowerment, self-determination, through a political message and Black power through the arts and literature. And also, when she was 24 years old, she wrote a poem, Reflections of April 4th, 1968, which was the day that Martin Luther King was assassinated. And this is what she wrote. It began this way: what can I, a poor Black woman, do to destroy America? This is a question with appropriate variations, being asked in every Black heart. Around the same time, she composed lines in which she appeared to contemplate giving up poetry altogether. And that's because grief, loss gives us great grief, and grief is very hard. But this is what she said in quote: maybe I shouldn't write at all. but clean my gun and check my kerosene supply. Perhaps these are not poetic times at all. And wow, that just really shows the depth of pain that it was to a 24-year-old Black poet in the arts to feel the pain of losing Martin Luther King in 1968. And there's one other thing that was noted in 1971 is when she rose to national prominence, and she did a album, a gospel choir with a gospel choir titled "The Truth Is on Its Way." The record made poetry meaningful to many people who previously dismissed it. And Ebony magazine wrote of Nikki after this album. Nikki, the poet, has become a personality, a star, and that was also interesting. Did you have what else you wanted to add, Mary?
She she was born Yolande Cornelia Giovanni in Knoxville, Tennessee, and from her maternal grandmother, with whom she briefly lived as a teenager, she would inherit a fierce pride about her Black heritage, and this intensity of feeling pervades all of her work. So her intenseness for Black pride was inherited from her grandmother. She was a graduate of Fisk University, and she edited the campus literary magazine and participated in campus politics by founding a civil rights organization. And that was done in college. So she's been on the road to Blackness for a long time.
Oh, okay, that's interesting. And also, um, June the 7th of 1973, I read that she compiled a collection of poetry called Black Judgement and Black Feelings, Black Talk. And both of those books sold thousands of copies, which led to her having a lot of appearances on the Tonight Show and television programs. And it was at this point that Nikki Giovanni, a Black poet, filled the Lincoln Center, which is a concert hall of 3,000 with 3,000 seats. She packed the house, and I thought that was just a significant achievement for a 30-year-old Black woman in 1930 to fill a concert hall as a poet.
Yeah, that's remarkable.
Yeah. Okay. What else you have, Mayor?
Well, she she's a Presidential Medal of Honor recipient, and let's see. That's about it. That's about all I have.
Okay. What I have one thing, and I didn't know this until I read it yesterday. It says that she wrote a poem about the incoming president, Barack Obama, in January 2009, and I thought it was just powerfully packed with words, and that it goes back to her being described as a prolific writer, and then she's telling stories with verses, um, and she says, in quotes, "I'll walk the streets and knock on doors, share with folks, not my dream but yours. I'll talk with the people, I'll listen and learn." I'll make the butter, then clean the churn. And I thought, wow, that was just so powerful. Those three small verses just packed with content. And I think I just have to tip my hat to Nikki Giovanni for expressing our Blackness through her words and poetry and in verse. And but it really has made me realize how people really pay more attention to your legacy after you have passed than they do when you are here. And thank God for artists, for people like you, Mary, who loved the art um, passionately when the person was standing here. That's
Right.
just wonderful.
Right. She's always been my favorite, and I've always shared her with my students. Her writing was such that it kind of eased the way for children to write because she wrote most of her poems in lowercase letters. Really, she would pronounce those words or those words that needed to be capitalized, but most of it was done in lowercase. And as I said earlier, I've been done Moments with Mary for the last 4 years. And yesterday I didn't do it. It was just something, I didn't feel it. And I guess intuitively something was going on and I didn't realize what was going on. And today when I opened my computer, I saw that Nikki Giovanni left us on yesterday.
Yes. And she definitely left us with some powerful words,
She definitely
some
did.
great poetry in and even albums. She wrote
Right.
over 25 books, and many of them were best-selling. So she did well. Job well done.
Yes. We
Yes,
won't forget her. We
we
won't
won't.
forget her,
We
and
will not forget her.
we
Well,
can
all right.
continue to pass it on.
There. I think that we've done a decent tribute for one of your favorite poets, and also for a person who is admired around the world, Nikki Giovanni.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You,
All
Meredith.
right.
Thank you.
All right. Have a good one.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye bye.